Remember the Yes on 64 ads that focus on protecting kids?
And Prop 64 bans advertising directed at kids, child-proof packaging, and bans edibles that appeal to children.
The emphasis is high because so is the risk. Consider the following. Marijuana-related emergency room visits have jumped almost 2,000% in the last 4 years in Central Oregon. Most patients are adults, but some are children. It's a similar story in Colorado. More children are ending up in the hospital for accidental exposure to edibles laced with marijuana. The trend is up fivefold from 2009 to 2015. Symptoms include dizziness, vomiting, and in some cases, seizures.
The edibles look good, they are appealing to them, and the children are going to know that.
Dr. Michael Alshouse at Valley Children's Hospital is watching the trends in Colorado and Oregon.
And they're made tasty and seductive to them.
And he's worried. Are you afraid of a tidal wave of new patients coming in if Prop 64 passes?
Well, I think that's going to happen.
In fact, it already is, even without Prop 64. Last August in San Francisco, a dozen children got sick at a party from eating marijuana-laced candy. So what is Oregon doing to protect children?
How you doing, man?
Quite a lot, really.
And have you been in with us before, sir?
Yeah.
We traveled to Oregon to see firsthand for ourselves. It begins with strict security. You're buzzed in and out of these licensed businesses like Oregon Grown in Portland. Similar security measures would be in place in California.
I also have the wild guns.
Those are great.
Okay,
perfect. I'll get 2 of those.
Edibles, already popular with medical marijuana patients, are becoming more popular with recreational users as well.
Do you see a day when the edibles are more popular than the weed that people smoke?
Yes.
Per Oregon law, edibles must have these warning labels.
That is going to be the universal symbol. It lets everybody know if this product contains cannabis.
And what does something like this cost?
$4.
So who's keeping track of all this? The edibles, the plants, the wholesalers, and the distributors.
You've got to have a well-regulated market.
Under Measure 91, the Oregon Liquor Control Commission is in charge of enforcement. They track everything from seed to sale.
You want to make sure that it doesn't get into cartels, crime, and kids, essentially.
In California, under Prop 64, the newly renamed Bureau of Marijuana Control would regulate, license, and tax recreational marijuana. Supporters claim it could raise $1 billion per year from 2 new taxes, one on cultivation up to $9.25 per ounce and a new sales tax of 15%. Oregon has a similar taxation system that Anthony Johnson, the co-author of Measure 91, says is working.
And generate new, millions of dollars in new revenue.
Oregon is on track to collect about $43 million in tax revenue this year, which is better than expected. But
where's the money go?
Well, in Oregon, we specifically say where it goes. 40% goes to our common school fund, 25% goes to alcohol and drug prevention and treatment, 15% to our state police, 10% to cities, and 10% to counties.
I asked Rob Bovet, the legal counsel for the Association of Oregon Counties, about Fresno County possibly opting out if Prop 64 passes, meaning no commercial growers, no stores, and no sales tax revenue.
Why would it be a bad idea for Fresno County?
I'm not sure it would be.
In California, as in Oregon, counties can opt out of the law. Marijuana would still be legal statewide, but counties could say no to farms, shops, and distribution centers. For regulators, it's weird.
And so we're in this never land. We have counties that want to opt in, counties that want to opt out, and it's my job to protect both.
Enforcement, taxation, and regulation would get complicated if Fresno or other Valley counties decided to opt out, just like many counties in Oregon did.
It's this weird, strange universe we're in.
So how would California spend its marijuana tax money? The newly formed California Marijuana Tax Fund would oversee the projected annual $1 billion in tax revenue. 20% would go toward reducing environmental issues tied to marijuana, another 20% to reduce problems from driving under the influence of marijuana, and 60% would go toward youth programs, including drug education for students. Dr. Kevin Sabet says the so-called tax benefits from recreational marijuana is comparatively small.
In Colorado and Washington, they're not making a lot of money on this. It's pennies.
He likens Prop 64 to Prop 37. In 1984, the California State Lottery measure, voters were told our kids win too.
Has the California Lottery saved education? That's what the promise was.
The California Lottery generates about $1 billion per year for education, which is only about 1% of all public education needs in California, modest at best. And the projected $1 billion from Prop 64 is smaller still, making up only 0.59% of the state's $167 billion budget. But still, supporters say,
And there are plenty of people using cannabis in Fresno.
so why not regulate it and tax it?
I suspect Fresno is going to be able to tailor the rules and regulations for their communities.